Prof, thank you very much.
I use your country without your permission.
Thank you very much, Prof. And I think the whole of his presentation was about fostering collaboration is the key to innovation. Another round of applause for him, please. Thank you. Thank you. And for us, the HR professionals, I think you can link everything we are saying in innovation. It needs the right skills. It needs competent people. So I think we know where to chip in order to be part of the process of innovation in our organizations and countries. So we have eaten some minutes. We have to go for lunch at 12:30. So may I now invite questions, comments, and the presenters will quickly respond to before we close this session. Please, the floor is yours. Any question and a comment from all three presentations that we have heard this morning? I see, yes, gentlemen, can you introduce yourself and quickly hit the point? Please go ahead.
Right. My name is Olu. I just dropped in on the bit you said about collaboration, and my challenge relates to security when you're looking at the collaborative arrangements that will be in place. So what actually is being focused in that respect, so that we are collaborating, but we're not losing, security. We're not losing rights and intellectual properties, which we know are very integral to sustainability in the collaborative platform you did mention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will take 3 questions, and please introduce yourself, your organization, and probably tell the presenters which exactly you are focusing. First, second, or third presentation. Please welcome. Also, those who are online, you are also welcome to ask questions and give comments if any. Anybody online would like to ask question? No? So it looks like the presentation was well articulated and well understood. So I will ask the presenters to give their closing remarks. And when closing remarks, the question that has been asked by a gentleman here will also be addressed. So we start with Dr. Maxwell. Kindly 2 minutes of closing remarks. You are welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity once again. And thank you, Professor Wana. That was an amazing presentation on collaboration. And the speaker from Huawei, thank you for that presentation also. My closing remarks will just be like 2 or 3 bullet points. Number 1 here is that creating innovative cultures are difficult, but they are possible. So that's the first thing. You need to understand that you're up against the challenge of people thinking out of the box, complacency. So it's difficult, but it's possible because others have done it. The second thing I want to say here is that you should focus on tweaking and not transformation when you want to start. What do I mean by tweaking? You see, sometimes when leaders go to organizations and they want to just change everything at once, it becomes like a radical surgery, and it comes with a lot of pain and it gets a lot of resistance. What I would say here is, why not find what is good about the culture and begin to tweak? So in tweaking, you can focus on one point, one area, and use that as the driver of the change that will happen in that organization. And this was what Paul O'Neill did in Aluminum Company of America, where he focused on one thing, safety, and used that to drive all the transformation. So tweak is easier because people know that it's just one thing you're focusing on than transformation. The third, and perhaps the final point here, is to leaders. You see, usually I say to people that leaders are the prism through which we see the organization. Emerson says that every organization or every institution is a lengthened shadow of one man. His character determines the character of that organization. If I want to know what the culture is in an organization, I need to look at the leaders. So don't expect innovation from your people. Don't expect people to behave in a certain manner if you, as the leader, you are not doing the same. So it starts from you. You have to become the example. You have to become a role model of the behaviors that you expect of your people. That will be my parting shot. I want to thank the organizers again for this opportunity. Thank you, Chair. You can take over the mic.
Thank you so much. I see Letang has something to say. Letang has a question, hopefully to Dr. Maxwell or to the rest of them. All right, please, Letang.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Professor H, for the wonderful work you're doing in Africa, especially in Tanzania. And thank you, Pierce, for speaking in for him. I really appreciate all the insight you shared with us. My question to you, Professor H, is how did you succeed at bringing all the stakeholders together in the project that you are working on in Tanzania? Because this is one of the challenges that we are facing, at the CTO. Just bringing stakeholders together in a country. It's a huge challenge. Can you share some tips or the techniques that you used for you to succeed at that? Thank you.
I think you should take the first question.
Thank you, Letang, for that question. Letang from CTO. Probably giving opportunity for the presenters to wind up their presentations. If anybody has reconsidered to ask any questions or give any comments, I still see none. So I would like to invite Mr. Pierce to give you a closing remarks in the wind up your presentation. 2-3 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. So in relation to the point around collaboration with third parties, Huawei as an external service provider providing services to many organizations, we comply with basically local and international standards around security and data, so that if those standards are not, I imagine you have standards within market that you would expect third parties to comply with, and that is what should govern the relationship between those service providers and any external organization that I think you're sharing access with. So that should solve your security issue, or hopefully anyway. And if there's perhaps a doubt about how those standards have adapted, you can always look at other standards from other markets and potentially take a new standard to solve that issue. In terms of the
What's your main concern? IPR, losing IPR, or I think that's what I'm saying. Both. Okay.
Great. So IP can be registered, and that's a form of protection as well. There can be various non-disclosure agreements and other legal contracts signed to ensure your IP remains safe. I think in terms of the winding up comments that I have, it's clear that innovation has to come from the top down. So if you have a culture where everyone is looking at their individual KPIs to achieve their objectives, and those KPIs do not relate to innovation, do not create space for innovation, and you have potentially sales people going out marketing products that are not incentivized to create the market for those innovative products, your innovation is not going to come forward in your organization. You have to create space within the organization and the time for staff to innovate and want to innovate and see it as something useful rather than something that is not part of their job. So if you build it into the kind of the standards that they have to achieve, the objectives that they have, then they can work towards it. I think also, having worked in a very large international organisation, it's clear that there are lots of existing ideas within organisations that don't get taken forward simply because there's a lot of energy that's required to take those things forward. You don't know the route to take those things up. You don't necessarily know how to innovate. And the larger and more bureaucratic the organisation is, the more that's likely to occur. So creating those clear channels, making sure that people know the route to innovation, this is the process, this is the support that you get to deliver your idea. And this is also potentially the reward for taking that forward, so that they can take that idea, own it, and see it through that process with the right support within the company as well. So space for innovation associated with objectives and KPIs, and then also a process of innovation internally. And as a former economic regulator in the UK, one of the things that I am aware of is companies look to regulators and the standards that regulators set. And sometimes regulators do not move as quickly as companies innovate. So in the UK, we got around this in the financial services sector and so I regulated energy and water previously and was general regulatory economist. In the financial services sector in the UK, we created something called the Regulatory Sandbox, which created safe standards for companies to innovate, but allowed them to innovate as well, so that the regulator didn't stand in the way of innovation and ensured that customers were still protected. So that it provides a model for how regulators can create that space and safety for companies to innovate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for those closing remarks. Now, can we kindly invite Professor H to make his closing remarks? Professor H.
Thank you very much, Russell. The colleague at the back who asked the question about IPR and security, I think it's a very important question. I get asked this question a lot across the Caribbean as well as Africa. I've worked with big organizations like BT, for example. I was on this directors specialized in that issue. It's of course running spectrum in this country. If you work for a big company, you have all the budgets to protect your business. and that's just the case. If you're running a 10-man organization like I am right now, Senegal, I wouldn't bother to try and, I've got ideas that I think I can protect, but I just wouldn't bother. I just try to run faster than anybody else in the industry by innovating. It goes back to what you heard from Dr. Uber, when Dr. Uber said, if the rate of change inside is greater than the rate of change outside, then you tend to succeed. So we are, at Senegal, we're trying to ensure that the rate of change inside is greater than the rate of change outside. And we're doing okay. And I tell all small entrepreneurs to try and do that until they become a Huawei or until they become a Noel or something like that. On the question that my sister asked, it's a very interesting question, but she's an African like I am. I know I'll get into trouble saying what I'm just about to say, but what we did in Tanzania, I cannot do in my own country, Cameroon. It's just true. What we did in Tanzania, I cannot do in my own country, Cameroon. So what I tend to do is I tend to try to work, since I've worked across so many countries across Africa and Asia and Caribbean, we tend to know the countries that you know can make things happen, all right? And you tend to work closely with them. So it was a collaboration that I've been having this conversation with Professor Comer, the ex-head of the regulator. Dr. Bakari, the new boss, was very, very good. He came in. I gave some presentations about what the top 10 services, and I talked about the importance of these platforms, and that, frankly, we now need to really do collaboration. It wasn't my idea, but the person who really drove it, and who you should give most of the credit to, is his boss, Dr. Bakari, the current head of TCL. In terms of my closing remarks, and by the way, your country, Bokra, I think if you go to a place like Bokra and meet somebody like Bokare, I think Matt will do a good job in your country. I'm pretty sure, and the ministers. I'm pretty sure you can happily put on as well as Nigeria. My brother over is from Nigeria. The minister and the regulator, the NCC, and the ministry are now working much more closely in Nigeria than I've seen them work many, many years ago. So that would be good. My closing three remarks. I'm still without any complaints or fear or favor from Dr. Uma Maxwell, Maxwell Uma. If the rate of change inside is not as good as the rate of change outside, we start failing. So I think one of the things that the city is doing here is trying to equalize at least the rate of change outside and the rate of change inside, and that's good. And so that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is the questions, again from Dr. Maxwell, the questions don't change. The questions don't change, as Einstein said, just the answers are different. People asked me the same questions back in 2014. I gave them different answers to my 2014 book. That asked me those same questions back in 2022. I'm giving them a hybrid answer between what I said in 2014 and what I'm saying in 2022. So those questions, and the third is, if you think you can do it alone, I think you're wasting your time. If you fly into the airport in Tanzania, in Johannesburg, you would see a very nice quotation as you're getting to Johannesburg Airport, getting the country says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So I take it that we must foster collaboration and partnership in order to go far, we have to go together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, our three presenters, for these presentations. I hope everyone has a takeaway. For later, I would like to ask you to consult our delegation. We will also give you some more tips about what we did to get all those guys in that room. Yeah, but at least I can say to all of you that first of all, you must be trusted. In order for those people to listen to you, they must trust you. But second is that you have to go to the top and let the top do the rest. That's what we can say. So it is not TCRA who actually invited those people. It was the office of the top office that invited those people. And when they come there, then they see sense of what you invited them for. So having said that, I would like to thank you very much and thank CTO for giving us this opportunity to share with you what we have shared. And I wish you all the best and stay tuned for other presentations this afternoon. Thank you so much and goodbye.
Thank you, Rasmo, and the speakers for your presentation. So it's now time for break, lunch. So as we did yesterday, the lunch is just the first upstairs there. And we'll be coming back in second floor. We'll be coming back 1:30. So we can go for lunch now.